And we begin tonight with breaking news. Phoenix police say a suspect is dead after a shooting involving officers. It happened around 6 o'clock this evening in the area of 23rd Avenue and Pinnacle Peak. Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. The investigation is ongoing, but Phoenix police tell us none of their officers were hurt. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is at the scene right now. And Chase, what's the latest from police?
Mark, we just spoke with Phoenix police about an hour ago, and they told us the suspect that they were after was a man in his 50s or 60s, a wanted felon for sex crimes against children. Now, they were following him in a neighborhood near 23rd Avenue and Pinnacle Peak Road. Once he crossed the intersection here and started heading west toward the I-17, that's when the shooting occurred. From where we're standing, we're about the length of a football field away. Now, police said that officers had to use their grappler device to stop that man's vehicle. Once that happened, the vehicle came to a stop. Another officer arrived, and they said that the shooting happened right then and there. More than one officer firing their weapons, shooting that suspect while they were still inside their car. They said firefighters arrived once the scene was safe, removed the suspect from the vehicle, and declared him dead here at the scene. Now, at this time, Phoenix police cannot say if that suspect had a weapon or fired at officers, telling us that's all part of the ongoing investigation.
We're going to work with the Department of Public Safety to look through every strain of evidence that we have. We're going to talk to the officers to get their recollection of what they observed. And once we're able to, we'll release that. And again, within about 14 days, or 14 days on the dot if we can, Phoenix Police Public Affairs will release a critical incident briefing video with as many of the facts and circumstances as we know.
Again, none of the officers were injured in this shooting, and we are still waiting for police to release the suspect's name. Again, the only information that we have on him was a man in his 50s or 60s, a wanted felon for sex crimes against children. As far as the investigation here, we're told by police that this will be going on for hours, that the road from Pinnacle Peak at 23rd Avenue all the way to the I-17 will remain closed for hours. So if you are in the area, be sure to avoid it. We're live in North Phoenix tonight. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. New developments tonight in the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, more than 4 months after she disappeared from her Tucson home. Volunteers in Mexico say they received a tip about where her remains could be. 12 News reporter Maria Stobbs is here with the latest. Maria?
Mark, that's right. This search group regularly looks for missing people, and they've helped find the remains of dozens of people in the Nogales area. But this is the first time they've received a tip that specifically mentioned Nancy Guthrie. For the volunteers with Buscando Corazones, anonymous tips are common, often leading them to remote parts of Mexico as they search for missing people.
We usually get anonymous calls almost every day.
This time, they're looking for answers in a case that has captured national attention. Were you familiar with Nancy Guthrie when you did get that tip?
In reality, no, I didn't know. Once they told me, I looked her up. That's all I know. Here in Mexico, we search for all those who are missing the same way.
Ramona Guadalupe Ayala Ortiz, the leader of the collective, says a caller last month told her Nancy Guthrie's remains are buried close to the Mariposa port of entry in Nogales, just across the border. Nancy, the mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, has been missing since February 1st after police say she was taken from her Tucson home. Savannah Guthrie has since returned to work, but the pain remains.
It's always with me, you know. I mean, I cry every morning on the way to work, and I cry every morning on the way home.
Despite video showing a masked man at Nancy's home the night she disappeared, there are still no answers or suspects.
And we still need everybody's prayers,
Yeah,
and we still wish someone would call and say what they know.
After receiving the tip on a possible gravesite, volunteers alongside Mexican authorities conducted a search on May 16th and returned again on Wednesday.
They only told me to search near the streams, under a velvet tree. That's all. So we, as searchers, have learned the techniques for finding a clandestine grave.
Ramona says searchers are looking for any signs the ground may have been altered, including burn marks and uneven soil. But both searches have come up empty. Now they're planning to search another stream on Tuesday.
We have hope that we will find it.
The Pima County Sheriff's Office says they are aware of the reports about the anonymous tip. They say they have not been contacted by Mexican authorities about the search efforts and that their investigation is ongoing. Live in studio, Maria Stobbs, 12 News.
All right, Maria, thank you. Meanwhile, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says that they arrested a man who was live streaming outside of Nancy Guthrie's home tonight. This is video from 54-year-old Alexander Zabel Jr.'s live stream on the YouTube channel Criminal Network. It shows deputies trying to arrest Zabel when one of them is knocked to the ground. Zabel is now facing charges of resisting arrest and public nuisance. Maricopa County recently released surveillance video showing 2 employees from the county recorder's office removing a vote tabulator and some provisional ballots from the election center. The incident happened on March 12th. The video shows a pre-tabulation scanner being wheeled out of the county facility and into a vehicle. It was then brought back 50 minutes later. Officials say the machine was removed without proper authorization, leaving it compromised and unusable for future elections. A special prosecutor has now been appointed to investigate the incident.
New at 10, just a month after the Phoenix City Council passed an ordinance restricting medical care and distributing food at city parks, a federal judge is now putting it on hold. It comes after legal action from a local religious group maintaining that their First Amendment rights were being violated. 12 News journalist Tiani Jadalang is live in Phoenix tonight. She spoke with both the city and the founder of the group that filed the suit. Tiani, what are they saying?
Mark, this order involves the city of Phoenix, church group St. Herman's Table, and its founder, Lance Brace. Now, while it's only temporary, the group is hoping for a more permanent solution. This is the group at the center of an ordinance granted by U.S. District Court Judge Krissa M. Lanham. The Orthodox Christian ministry St. Herman's Table was founded by Lance Brace. Brace has been coming to Cave Creek Park for the last 8 months to feed the homeless population, an act he continues to do because of religious beliefs.
Feeding the needy is a core aspect of the Christian lifestyle. It's commanded in many times throughout the scriptures.
But an ordinance that went into effect just days ago shifted who would be able to provide medical care and distribute food at city parks. The policy coming from safety concerns raised by residents and families.
I went down the slide and got hurt with the needle, and I was bleeding, and my mom had to take me to the hospital.
The ordinance forced both individuals and organizations to adhere to a number of strict guidelines. These include required city permits, mandatory cleanup and removal of all waste, frequency caps stating that groups would only be able to provide services twice a month, and medical care that would only be able to be provided from an enclosed tent or a mobile medical vehicle. Stephen McFarland is part of the team representing Brace. He tells us after writing the city privately, sending them legal issues, and never receiving a response, they were compelled to sue.
Told him that, hey, he's going to show up regardless of whether this ordinance is passed. So we're going to be compelled to have to sue in federal court in order to protect him. And they went ahead and it went into force last Monday.
But just yesterday, a federal judge granted a temporary restraining order for 2 weeks. This blocks the city of Phoenix from enforcing its new park permit rules against the nonprofit and its founder, allowing the church to keep feeding the in-house population in parks without a permit. We did reach out to the city of Phoenix about this issue. They left us a statement reading in part, quote, "We will comply with the court's very narrow temporary order, which applies only to St. Herman's Table and Lance Brace for 2 weeks. The city council adopted this ordinance to ensure that all residents can enjoy their neighborhood parks, and it applies equally to anyone who wants to hold a feeding event at a park. It makes no distinction based on religion." As for the attorney who represents the group who feeds the homeless population, he says they're hopeful for a more permanent decision.
The order suggests that the judge not only thought it was worth a 2-week TRO, but also that it might result in a permanent injunction if once she hears it, all the arguments. So we're cautiously optimistic.
Moving forward, the judge is giving both parties 5 days to get together and tell the court where they stand. Live in Phoenix, I'm Tiani Jadalang, 12 News.
All right, Tiani, thank you.